Wu Jing's clever scheme might not be all that clever after all. On the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 6, Wu Jing broke out a former Blacklister and hired her to help him locate the post office in his quest to eliminate Raymond. The majority of what transpired was fairly predictable and corresponded to our predictions in our analysis of the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 5. Except for Vesco's premature end, a lot of things were predictable. The strategy Wu Jing will use to reveal Raymond is complex. It is not as simple as convening a meeting of all offenders and revealing what he believes he knows to them. He must provide concrete proof to support his claims. He spent the entire hour attempting to locate the post office so he could get Raymond's plea deal from the US government. There are no copies of those top-secret papers outside of the post office, and he deserves praise for dedicating himself to the issue and beginning the campaign in the first place. He did, however, appear to experience the overconfidence and mental blinders that most people who seek retribution experience. Wu Jing, Dembe, who I think is a member of the FBI team working with Reddington, will eventually be persuaded to divulge all the specifics of Reddington's arrangement with the FBI. Most significantly, the location of their main office, a safe FBI center. Robert, although he was well aware that the post office is one of the most secure FBI stations, he was still ready to break into it. He overlooked the obvious signs about Vesco because of his overzealous desire to expose Raymond. Vesco believed he was skilled at persuasion, but anyone who gave even the slightest attention to his body language could tell that he was actually snooping. Even before his first encounter with Wu Jing, we had our suspicions about where his loyalties lay. One could tell he was fishing from the way he raised them whenever new information was spoken or from the style of his inquiries. Wu Jing was searching for a yes man, and Robert was a good fit, so he was unable to see that. He used the techniques of a Blacklister who was notorious for his brutality. In the jail setting, Dr. Perillos was turning a new page by aiding women with persistent pain. If she hadn't been jarred from her work-induced trance, she might have turned into a respectable citizen. Finishing the task she began with Dembe was something out of her fantasies for her. There have been many terrible people on the Blacklist, but Dr. Perillos sticks out. She sifts through your mental baggage and pulls something out to torture you with. It is Dembe's history of making some dubious professional decisions. Dr. Perillos, or perhaps switching from a corrupt, violent, white man to a corrupt, violent, white organization just felt right. Dembe, thank you. I am aware of the FBI's past. She is made more terrifying by Laverne Cox's portrayal of her, ensuring that every word and phrase is spelled out as if it were the most significant phrase ever. It seemed contrived how Dr. Perillos ended. That might be as a result of Wu Jing's actions or the course that the story is supposed to follow. He ought to have the numbers of as many people on the lists as he could. Although it seemed like a poor choice, he seems to have an aptitude for making them. Killing Dr. Perillos and Vesco will come back to haunt him. When everyone who has broken out of prison and interacted with him passes away, it does not appear good. He might also be overestimating potential responses from others. Vesco serves as a good example of how some people might admire or fear Raymond too much to think about opposing him. Others might have recognized what Raymond did and found themselves in a better situation. Although there will be some soldiers ready to support his cause, it won't be as many as he would like. An elderly man named Raymond keeps losing acquaintances. That alters an individual in some way. Vesco is the friend who is the nearest in age to him, so Vesco's passing must have affected him greatly. The recent death only served to confirm previous indications that he was finding it more difficult to survive each day. Sia was searching somewhere else. She may not have known what she was searching for, but her obsession with her deceased mother cannot be healthy. It is sometimes wise to leave the past alone because you might not like what you discover. If she wanted to know who her mother was, she should ask those who knew her, not look it up in the records. Papers don't reveal a lot about a person's life, most likely what they achieved, but perhaps not the little things that define them. As an illustration, her brief conversation with Wrestler did more to open her eyes than anything she had read over the previous couple of evenings. The second installment of Dr. Laken Perillos was a lot better. Dembe had been missing for some time, so even though we saw him in pain, it was still nice to see him. The best aspect of it was how much Wu Jing was on screen. We gained more insight into his strategy and personality. That included his virtues and shortcomings. The invasion of the post office, data extraction, decryption, and the repercussions are what come next. Do you believe his attempt to sneak into the post office will be successful? Should Raymond begin to feel frightened? Please remember to like, share, and follow.